In this video, we're going to look at how do we take one of those parts that we added to the library package, the symbol and the footprint, how do we take that into our board design? We want to add the symbol into the schematic and have the footprint be linked automatically so that when we push that new schematic over to the layout, the footprint goes along as well. I'm going to give you the quick answer now. You cannot add a part from the global library package, from that the symbol library of the global library package. You can't add a symbol and paste it into the schematic because it will not contain the linkage to the footprint. What we have to do is use the local library package to put the symbol in the footprint, and then we'll have linkage between the symbol and the footprint. We're going to move those over, we're going to save them, we're going to check the linkage, and then we're going to place a part from the symbol library that is local to that circuit board file. We're going to paste that into the schematic, and we'll see that its footprint is automatically linked. And that is a shortcut way in which we can use a part we've immediately downloaded from a website somewhere and use that in our schematic right away. Now we're going to explore that so what question. Why did we spend so much time dealing with the library packages and getting parts into them? Because ultimately all we're trying to do is get a new part and place it in our schematic. Here is our schematic. We would like to take one of these parts that we've brought over from the online databases and brought into our library package. We'd like to bring those and place them in the schematic and then use them integrated into our project. Well, here we've got our library package that's part of the global database. We know one way of doing this. We can compile this library package, turn it into an integrated library. It will appear over here under components as a new integrated library, and then we can take any part from that integrated library, place it in our schematic, and it will automatically be linked with its footprint and ready to go to push into a layout. That's one way of doing it. But that means we have to make an integrated library, and if we're only partway through the project and we have some more parts that we're going to get eventually, we'll have to create a new integrated library, and there's a little hassle there. Here is the shortcut. Unfortunately, we can't take a symbol in our global library package, for example the ADS1115, we can't take that and place it into our schematic. If we do, you'll notice down here at the bottom we have a few commands for our symbols in our symbol library. If we say place, it will automatically, look, opened up the schematic page that was there. We've got the symbol icon. You think, wow, all we have to do is place that symbol on the schematic page and we're ready to go. We can wire that component up, connect it in with the rest of the circuit, and that's all we need to do. And in fact, when we double click and we pull up the properties page, wow, here's the information of that part. That's great. Except, wait a minute, the footprint. Let's see. Click to, we don't have a footprint. We have not been able to link the footprint between the symbol that we have in our library package and the footprint that we have in our library package. I mean, if we close this down and go back to that symbol in the schematic library, here's our ADS1115. It knows exactly where that footprint is, but unfortunately it can't take it out of the global library package. So unfortunately, we can't go from that beautiful, wonderful global library package that we created and place one of those components onto a schematic and have the footprint linked. Yeah, we can draw a schematic with this part, but as soon as we try to push this schematic into a layout, onto a circuit board, we're going to get an error. Doesn't have the footprint. We can't proceed. So do not take, so I'm going to take that part and delete it. Do not try to take a part from the global library package and move it into a schematic. All we can do from the global library is create an integrated library. But here's the trick. Remember, we created a local library package. We created these local libraries that have the PCB_lib and the symbol lib. All we have to do is move the information about the symbols and their footprints into these two libraries that are local to the schematic, and we will have the linkage of the symbol and the footprint, and we can use that in our schematic. So here's how we do it, really simple. We're going to open up all the symbols that we have in our SCH library. We only have 3 of them. I'm going to click the first one, shift click the bottom. We've selected all of them. I'm literally going to copy all of those. I'm going to open up the symbol library that is local to our circuit board project. Don't have anything in there, and I'm literally just going to paste them all in there. Now, I do have this component. It's a dummy component. It serves no value in there, and so I'm going to delete that. And so here are our 3 symbols. The last step is we need to get their footprints. So here is where we have the footprints. So it's the PCB lib. We're going to open it up. Here they are. We're going to take all of them over there. Click, shift click, and we select all of them. We're going to copy all of these, and we're going to paste them into our footprint library. We only have that one dummy component in there now, and we have 5 components to paste in there. And there they are. And again, I'm going to get rid of, here's this dummy component. I'm going to get rid of him. Okay, now we've got the same components, the symbols in here and their footprints in here in the local library for that circuit board project. These symbols and footprint databases are local to this circuit board file and cannot be used in other circuit board files. In order to be able to use them and have the database recognize the components in here, I have to save them. And so all I have to do is, you'll notice they have the little star next to them. That means I've got stuff in there that hasn't been saved. So I'm going to click and I'm going to save. And same thing with the symbols. I'm going to click and I'm going to save. And now they're saved. And now we want to make sure that all of the symbols have a link to the footprint database. And so we open up the symbols. Here are the symbols. And let's take a look at the first one. Here it is. Hey, it knows where the footprint is. And if we look at the edit, we see it says, oh, it's going to check for any library, which means it's going to start at the nearest footprint library, that PCB lib. It's going to look for the nearest one and see if it can find the footprint with this name in it. And sure enough, it found it. Here's that practice. Look, it's the local library now. It's the practice folder, and it's the PCB lib. That one's found it. Let's see the @mega. Hey, the @mega, and I've got 3 of them. I think we're going to use the N file, and it knew where to go because look, we have any library, and that means it's going to look for the nearest footprint library. And we say OK, and let's see for the TMP36. Hey, it found it as well because again, when we look at that footprint, we said, hey, find it in any library, which means literally the nearest one to the symbol library. We are in good shape. This says that without doing anything special, we have automatically linked the symbols with the footprints. Now I did make that one change. I associated the footprint I wanted to use for that symbol with that N footprint, and so I need to save that just because I'd made that change. Now, by saving these and having them in the location that the library's structure understands, when I take a symbol from this library, so here are my 3 symbols. When I take one of these and I place it onto the schematic page, I will also link the database of its footprint. So let's grab this is the analog to digital converter. We'll say place. We've got that icon. We're over here on the schematic page. We're just going to place it in. There it is. We have the parts there. We can wire it in and we can build our schematic with it. And if we double click the part to bring up all the database information, we see, yep, all that information is there. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I don't see a footprint. It says click to preview. I click and there it is. So by using the local library package, we have linkage between the symbol and the footprint. And that's what we need in order to compile this and turn it over to the layout. At this point, we can take any of the other symbols as well, that we have. In the symbol library, the temperature sensor, we can identify him. We can place him on the schematic as well. There he is. We can connect in the wires to all the terminals. If we double click this guy, we bring up, here is the information about him, and look, here is his footprint linked in. Now, we still haven't cleaned up the footprints or the symbols. We still need to do that, but we've illustrated how we can get a part off of the web, bring it into a library package. In this case, we put them into our global library package because it's our hope eventually to collect them all together and build an integrated library. But in the short term, before I build that integrated library update, I can use them immediately by using the local library package in my PCB project. And now those symbols and footprints that I've brought in are available to do something with in my circuit. So the last step is we need to go in and we need to clean up the symbol and the footprint a little bit in order to make them a little bit more robust for our application.